Chapter 3, Section 1. What is ecology? Floods hit Texas. Wildfires char 3 states. Drought withers Florida. Such news often flashes across television screens, newspapers, and the internet. We are fascinated and frightened by these natural events, but there are other stories as well. Some tell of projects to restore wetlands in southern Florida and along the Mississippi River for the purposes of controlling floods and droughts. Other reports on improvements in air and water quality as a result of changes in the gasoline that we put in our cars. Like all organisms, we interact with our environment. To understand these interactions better and to learn how to control them, we turn to the science called ecology. Interactions and interdependence. Ecology is the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their environment or surroundings. The word ecology was coined in 1866 by the German biologist Ernst Haeckel. Haeckel based this term on the Greek word oikos, meaning house, which is also the root of the word economy. Haeckel saw the living world as a household with an economy in which each organism plays a role. Nature's houses come in many sizes, from single cells to the entire planet. The largest of these houses is called the biosphere. The biosphere contains the combined portions of the planet in which all life exists, including land, water, and air, or atmosphere. It extends from about 8 kilometers above Earth's surface to as far as 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. Interactions within the biosphere produce a web of interactions and interdependence between organisms and its environment in which they live. Whether it occurs on tops of the glacier in a forest like the one in Figure 3-1 or deep within the ocean trench, the interdependence of the life on Earth contributes to an ever-changing or dynamic biosphere. Levels of organization. To understand relationships within the biosphere, ecologists ask questions about events and organisms that range in complexity from a single individual to the entire biosphere. The many levels of organization that ecologists study are shown in Figure 3-2. Some ecologists study interactions between a particular kind of organism and its surroundings. Such studies focus on the species level. A species is a group of organisms so similar to one another that they can breed and reproduce offspring. Other ecologists study populations or groups of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area. Still, other ecologists study communities or assemblages of different populations that live together in a defined area. Ecologists may study a particular ecosystem. An ecosystem is a collection of all the organisms that live in a particular place, together with the non-living or physical environment. Larger systems called biomes are also studied by teams of ecologists. A biome is a group of ecosystems that have the same climate and similar dominant communities. The highest level of organization that ecologists study is the entire biosphere. The study of ecology ranges from the study of an individual organism to populations, communities, ecosystems, biomes, and finally, the entire biosphere. The information that ecologists gain at each level contributes to our understanding of natural systems. Ecological methods. Ecologists use a wide range of tools and techniques to study the living world. Some, like the scientists in Figure 3-3, use binoculars and field guides to assess changes in plants and wildlife communities. Others use studies of DNA to identify bacteria in the mud or coastal marshes. Still, others use radio tags to track migrating wildlife or use data gathered by satellites. Regardless of the tools they use, scientists conduct modern ecological research using three basic approaches: observing, experimenting, and modeling. All of these approaches rely on the application of scientific methods to guide ecological inquiry. Observing. Observing is often the first step in asking ecological questions. Some observations are simple. What species live here? How many individuals of each species are there? Other observations are more complex and may form the first step in the designing of experiments and models. Experimenting. Experiments can be used to test hypotheses. An ecologist may set up an artificial environment in a laboratory to imitate and manipulate conditions that organisms would encounter in the natural world. Other experiments are conducted with natural ecosystems. Modeling. An ecological phenomena occur over long periods of time or on such large spatial scales that they are difficult to study. Ecologists make models to gain insight into complex phenomena such as the effects of global warming on ecosystems. Many ecological models consist of mathematical formulas based on data collected through observation and experimentation. The predictions made by ecological models are often tested by further observations and experiments.